What's up, Conroe? Welcome to a brand new edition of Nerd Thug Sports. We're hanging out here on 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations, and we're streaming worldwide at irlonestar.com. We're hanging out here on this wonderful Thursday, just doing our thing, our sport thing.
Yeah, sports.
Yeah, sports. And this is Corey DLG, and with me as usual is little brother Nico.
Hello, hello.
Shout out to the Sports Talk station where we are now streaming today, are officially making our debut. And we're just hanging out. We're just all over the place now. So now you can hear us in Conroe and Clear Lake and anywhere on the internet and even more anywhere on the internet and
On the internet.
on the internet. You know,
The internet's a big place. There's multiple locations.
we're in several corners of it at the same time. We're like Schrodinger's cat of the internet.
So it's highbrow, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. We're both dead and alive. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We are the possibility.
We are the possibility. There you go. Speaking of lucky to be alive, it's coming out this week. A couple days ago, Chandler Parsons got in a car accident. Former Houston Rocket.
Ooh. Is he alive?
He is alive. However, they are now saying that his injuries are so severe he may not ever play again.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah. And what makes it worse, he was hit by a drunk driver like at an intersection.
Oh man, those are always the most terrible stories.
They really are, because it's like there's.
It's completely avoidable.
Well, the thing that's craziest about it is a lot of times in an athlete's fall, it's the athlete's fault.
Right. This had nothing to do with him.
Yeah, like it could have been anybody. He was a complete stop, and then he starts to go through an intersection, and a drunk driver just blows through it and
Just T-bones
just
him.
explodes him. Apparently, traumatic brain injury is the
Oh man.
is what they're saying is probably, like, he's got several issues,
Mm-hmm.
but they're
that's
saying
the biggest
they're
one.
saying that that's likely to keep him away from the court.
Wow.
He already has a lawyer, obviously, as a professional athlete who has contracts and such. He already does have a lawyer.
You're never gonna get that back. You know.
No, you don't, and that's going to be a hard thing. And him, he was it's sort of a weird story because he'd already been dealing with some injuries the past couple years that like were affecting his play and keeping him off the court.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could see the defense even maybe trying to make an argument where like, is he even a good player? Like.
That's not the arguments you make now. It's
I don't think it is, but I bet it gets made on the record.
right, probably, but
I bet this question gets asked. And how many minutes over the last 3 seasons did you miss due to injury?
it's like a lot. But I just got into a car accident that
Right.
wasn't my fault, and I
Right.
have traumatic brain damage.
Right. It's definitely, like I said, usually the athlete is involved in the athlete's fall, and it becomes like one part redemption story, one part tale of like caution.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't that.
This is just stop drinking and driving.
Yeah,
because it's a terrible decision that people make. Oh my gosh,
It's just
it goes to show you how impressive addiction is and how like much it grabs hold of people.
yeah, it really does. It does, because like surely no one. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe somebody does. I was gonna say surely someone doesn't want to be drunk at 2 p.m. But maybe
That's patently false because someone was drunk and driving at 2 p.m.
that's fair. You're right. Somebody clearly wanted to. There's a lot going on this week. Obviously, we now know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. It's going to be the 49ers against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Are the 49ers just going to sneak up on everyone who didn't say anything about them all season?
Listen, they're in the Super. There's no sneaking now. They're the only 2 teams left. Like,
No, I mean, the reason I say that is because like I haven't heard anyone like talk about the 49ers and like, oh, by they're in the Super Bowl, and you're like, wait a minute, what?
yeah, it has been a weirdly quiet season for them.
Like, there's been no controversies, no dramas, no like, oh, big thing happened in the
And they're-
49ers.
And they're 13-3, and no one's really
Yeah.
no one's really commented on it. I don't. Yeah. I mean, it has been a superbly quiet season, but I imagine
That's just good, right?
well, that's what you want if you're a head
Right.
coach. If you're the head coach of a team,
You're
what
like,
you
check
want
us
is,
out. We're 13-3. Nothing's happened to us. No one said anything. Just gonna stroll our way up to the finals.
It does help to be West Coast. When they talk about an East Coast media bias, I think a lot of times when people talk about like a media bias, they think it's like a deliberate thing. But I think it's the nature of how stuff works that affects it. And by that I mean because the 49ers are on the West Coast,
all their stuff's so late.
All their stuff starts way later. So an afternoon game for them, they always play the second slot game. And because there's always second slot games scheduled, people in the Central and Eastern time zones, which is most of the NFL, they don't see the West Coast teams play very often. So when people go, oh, Seattle, they're good, that's weird. 49ers, that's odd. Or when someone's like, oh, Oakland's been bad for 5 years, that's wow. It's because they don't
really follow Western.
Yeah, the West Coast teams don't penetrate because by then we're watching our second football game. By the time they even start playing,
right? And some people don't have time for that, or they have other things they got to do.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, listen, if you go to a Texans game, when you get home from traffic, like we live a little over an hour from the stadium, driving back from the stadium with traffic, it'll take me 2 hours to get home.
Right.
So the second game is already at past halftime by the time I'm even home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the 49ers, unless they're on an East Coast trip or in a primetime game,
you're not really paying attention to them.
You're not going to see them.
And it's kind of the opposite, I think, in basketball because all the East is so free, and then, the West is where all the big hitters are.
Well, yeah, exactly. The West being so darn competitive, you have to know all the teams because you're like, yeah, the Rockets just won 5 in a row, and it's like, so did 4 other teams in the West, though. So it doesn't matter.
Super impressive for staying up with your division.
Right, way to keep up with third place. And you're like, ugh. So much going on. Last night, Eli Manning announced his retirement from the NFL.
Oh. Zion
Williamson finally made his debut for the New Orleans Pelicans, the number 1 overall draft pick in last year's NBA draft. There's just a ton going on. There was a fight between the Kansases of college basketball.
Nice. Good job. I love college.
Massive brawl. One guy got suspended indefinitely because he grabbed a stool and lifted it over his head because he was going to kill people.
Ooh, that's not what you want to do.
No, it's not a good look, and especially because you can now with everything being 92 cameras being in the 30,000 seat basketball stadium, everyone sees what's happening.
Right,
and from 9 angles, there's a guy who's over 6 foot tall with a stool over his head and a look of murder on his face.
And you're like, I think he was going to kill him.
Yeah, there's 15 pictures of it. So good luck saying it wasn't me because you're wearing a jersey with your name on it.
I swear it wasn't me, dude. No, clearly, it's just a lookalike who's exactly my height, has my face, and was playing on that day.
Yeah, obviously it had nothing to do with me.
I was at home the whole time.
There's just a lot going on in sports this week. J.J. Watt is scheduled to host Saturday Night Live in 2 weeks. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Good. February 1st.
That's cool. Get our what did I call him last time? Something Texan, like the perfect Houstonian.
Yeah, the super Houstonian or whatever you called him. Okay, so let's do this here with what we've got. Go ahead and first tell everybody about Cox ATA.
Cox ATA Martial Arts, the leader in ATA Martial Arts, now with 3 convenient locations, one in Conroe, one in the Woodlands, and one in Magnolia. All kinds of different courses available. If you're 3, if you're 93. They have Taekwondo, Tai Chi, self-defense. They have all kinds of different courses available. They're very flexible. Mention Nerd Thug Radio. Get 2 free weeks of training. It's a great way to get the new year started. It's already the 20th.
Yeah, man. You're about to start the Chinese New Year now.
Right, the Chinese New Year's coming up. So mention Nerd Thug Radio. Head on down to Cox ATA. They're wonderful people. Mention Nerd Thug Radio. 2 free weeks of training. They teach life skills. They build leaders. They leave
a legacy. All right, Nico, you ready? I'm gonna say some things to you.
All right.
Okay. 1 of 5 players ever with multiple Super Bowl wins. Multiple Super Bowl MVPs, I should say.
Okay.
1 of 5.
1 of 5.
1 of 12 quarterbacks to ever win multiple Super Bowls.
Okay.
7th all-time in passing touchdowns.
All right.
7th all-time in passing yards.
Okay.
Only 3 times in NFL history has a quarterback beaten 3 13-plus win teams in a single postseason.
Wow.
And this guy did it 2 different times.
Oh.
210 consecutive starts.
That's a lot of starts.
Never missed a game due to injury.
Oh, who's never missed a game due to injury?
A 2016 Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Okay.
13-time team captain.
All right.
Eli Manning.
Huh.
Little brother Eli.
That's pretty good.
probably not going into the Hall of Fame.
With stats like that?
Probably not. The fast talk is... The talk has been a couple years now. Okay, here's the thing with Eli Manning. All of those great things that we just said, right? Incredible accomplishments, great career. When have we ever said that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league?
He hasn't been good for a while.
He has been good for a couple of years now. So the last 3-4 years, if someone wanted to go, those are bad years. They'd be right. But when has he ever on any given season, when has he ever been even like top 3 quarterback in the league?
That's an interesting point because yes, he does have all these accomplishments, but you're right. Like no one's ever been like, "Oh, good old Eli, one of the best ever."
Right.
I feel like that's also due to time, like
his timing.
Yeah,
because his brother Peyton was better.
Right. Well,
than Tom Brady, the best ever.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers, perhaps one of the most talented. Drew Brees, one of the most prolific. Aaron Rodgers, one of the most gifted.
Right.
Phillip Rivers, same draft class. They talk about Phillip Moore. He has done none of the things Eli has.
Right. And I think it's one due to timing. Family name has a lot to do with it too. The fact that he's a Manning, the fact that
Peyton's just the better one.
Yeah, he's just better than him. But you can't. I don't think you can ignore those accomplishments.
Honestly,
like if you were to be like, this is a quarterback who's done this. Should he be in the Hall of Fame? Like just presenting that information like that, you'd be hard pressed to be like no, because some quarterbacks have amazing careers, are considered great, and then don't have half of that.
So Drew Brees is only going to have one Super Bowl win, more than likely.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers won't have a Super Bowl win. Peyton Manning only barely got 2. Took everything he had to get the second one. He hung around the extra years for the second one. Had to change teams to get the second one.
Yeah, that's true.
Aaron Rodgers may only have 1 when it's all said and done. So just having 2
is pretty impressive.
There are no quarterbacks with 2 Super Bowl wins that aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So
I don't think he gets in.
Really?
There was never a time at all during his career where Eli Manning was the guy. Where Eli Manning, I don't think he's ever even gotten an MVP vote. Honestly, I don't think he's ever even gotten 1.
It's hard to say. Well, didn't you say he just got MVP of the Super Bowl twice?
Yeah, but an actual regular season MVP.
I guess that's fair.
So then you have to ask yourself, so in the NFL Hall of Fame, there's 2 rules. One of them is obviously be great, but there's not like a measurement statistic to it. But the second one is they don't look at character issues at all. So if you're like the biggest jerk off the field, but on the field you were amazing, you're supposed to get in. T.O. took forever to get in. When they finally put him in, he actually refused to go to the ceremony because he said character shouldn't matter. I should have been voted in like 3 times ago. You guys are just jerks.
Reasonable.
Honestly, it was one of the very few times I've agreed with something that came out of the mouth of T.O. His on-field performance is incredibly easy to defend. His actions have always been a little bit harder. He was right this time, though.
Right.
Eli Manning is you almost have to kind of sort of make this weird reverse argument where it's like, listen, he's just been the guy this whole time.
Yeah.
Like he's just been steady the whole time. You're right. There's not a lot of prolific things on the resume. Like somehow he has finished 7th in passing touchdowns. Great. But there wasn't ever a time where he was behind all these other people the whole time. This whole group of quarterbacks moved up together and he just stayed behind them all.
Right, but you can even argue that he didn't because he has 2 Super Bowl rings and some of them only have 1.
Right. Yeah, and so here's the other problem is with Tom Brady winning 6 out of 15 Super Bowls, right? With Peyton Manning winning 2. Essentially, that's over half of the Super Bowls over the last 15 years. So all the quarterbacks in this era, all of them, are fighting over 7. And then Eli has 2 of those.
Yeah.
So now all the other quarterbacks are fighting over 5.
Yeah.
So you got Big Ben has 1, Aaron Rodgers has 1, Drew Brees has 1. Like it's all of a sudden you start like questioning this era is going to be weird, and this is really important. When they talk about the receivers, the receiving numbers are going crazy, and the quarterback numbers are going crazy. It's going to be hard to measure. How are we going to decide who's great and not great? Because this year it's 4,000 yards and throwing. 5 seasons from now, if someone's throwing for 6,000 yards in the NFL, it might not be that far-fetched.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, well, yeah, of course Todd McToddleson in the future has already passed Drew Brees in only 8 years because, well, he's throwing for 6,000 yards a year. So, like, it doesn't count. They can't tackle, blah, blah, blah. So, all of that's going to be subjective, but what won't be subjective is winning championships and accomplishing something.
Right.
And The Adventure Begins, Comics, Games, and More is open on 1488 at 525 Woodland Square Boulevard. With comics, games, and everything nerd-related, The Adventure Begins is the one-stop nerd shop. On Saturdays, they alternate between having Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and coming up, they also have cosplay crafting and trivia nights and BYOB nights. They're currently offering a 10% discount for limited time, which will be valid for as long as you grab your books every month. Hi, Conroe, Corey DLG of Nerd Thug Radio. For people interested in saving money on car and home insurance, they should contact Sean Myers Insurance Services. If you look on Google, you'll see plenty of 5-star reviews for these guys. They're great. They're an independent agent able to shop over 15 national carriers to find the best coverage at the best price for that customer. They do specialize in home insurance as well as bundling with auto to maximize discounts. They would want you to know that they consider their customers family and that their policy is caring and their goal is to bring value by going through your coverage line by line to make sure you actually understand what you have. The interested parties should call 936-760-5963 if they're interested in saving money on car insurance today. Cox ATA is the leader in ATA martial arts with 2 convenient locations, one in Conroe, one in Magnolia. They offer courses for young adults, children, and senior citizens, and everything in between for people who are interested in self-defense, taekwondo, or various other courses. Be sure to check out the Facebook page if you're interested in Cox ATA Taekwondo.
This is Rudy Tomjanovich, and welcome to Nerd Thug Radio.
Welcome back to more Nerd Thug Sports, hanging out here on 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations. Streaming worldwide at IrelandStar.com. Make sure to check out Facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio. That's the mothership. That's where it all happens. If you're hearing us for the first time on our new streaming station on Sports Talk, feel free to go to the Facebook page. Like us, say hello, say what's up. We'll say nice things about you and to your parents about you. We'll lie for you. That's what we'll do, because we're good friends. That's how it rolls now. You remember the family, the Nerd Thug family. All right, the gauntlet's been dropped. Okay. All right. So when this station launched, when Sports Talk launched, we're in a secret Facebook group, the Illuminati, all of us, and someone was posting like, this guy's name is, they call him the Snowman. He does the daily afternoon show. Okay.
All right.
So I logged in the other day, and I logged in just in time to hear him talking trash about James Harden.
Oh, you don't do that in front of no Houstonians.
He said that James Harden wasn't a good basketball player.
It's patently false.
Stats
will disagree with you.
I'm a little blown away by that. And then he also said that it was because of 2 things, and he went on these 2 different tangents. One of them, he said, was because of the 3-point shots, and one of them was because of the free throws.
What?
They said, he's averaging 30 points a game. He goes, yeah, but how many shots is he taking? So I'm gonna break the arguments down here. So that was the first question. So how many shots is he taking? Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of a guy named Allen Iverson?
No.
He was the answer. Okay?
Okay.
That is what they called him. He was 6'2" and 97 pounds soaking wet. I'm exaggerating, only on the weight though. He was literally 6'2". He took the Philadelphia 76ers to the finals. And when I say he took them, I mean aside from fly the jet, he literally took them to the finals. The entire team was simply built around Allen Iverson. It was his job to score, his job to lead, his job to fire the team up, his job to get things going. They literally, the coach is out there calling plays, but it's Allen Iverson out there. It is his team. Eric Snow and Dikembe Mutombo are the guys helping him out. So, just like you barely know who Allen Iverson is, you definitely don't know who Snow and Mutombo are. And the truth of the matter is, he was by himself. And they stole a game from the Shaq-Kobe Lakers, game 1 of that series.
Wow.
In L.A.
Wow.
Straight up took game 1. Now, it finishes in 5 games because Shaq then literally just embarrasses for every time Allen Iverson did 19 moves to get 1 basket, Shaq just palm slapped the ball through the hoop and pointed at people and was like,
because he's literally a foot taller than him.
He is genuinely in that game more than any other, because this was young, fit, angry Shaq. This is year 5 or 6 in the league for him, And in game one, every sports reporter was talking about Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
And Shaq was like, what? Let me fix this for you. Let me tell you who you should be talking about. Shaquille O'Neal.
Smash.
Now, Allen Iverson, who carried his team, was averaging around 36% for shooting.
Good.
Not great. Not great. Good if he was a hitter. Great if he was a hitter. Not great as a shooter. James Harden, who for 2 years was the only thing on the Rockets, averages 43%. So if we're talking about how many shots does it take him to get however many points, well, he's doing better than one of the greatest, most prolific scorers in the NBA that we ever talk about. Everyone will tell you Allen Iverson is one of the best ballers in the NBA.
They called him the answer.
They called him the answer. Because the idea was, there's the question, how do you guard, who could break that? Like, who could even beat that defense? Who could do Allen Iverson's the answer to every one of those questions. He could. And he did for like 7 years. The guy made like $200 million. First player to ever receive a lifetime endorsement from, I think, Reebok.
Nice.
Yeah. Allen Iverson was prolific. And James Harden's about 10 points better percentage-wise. 13 points better. No big deal. It's cool.
Whatever.
It's cool. You want to talk about free throws? I mean, they're part of the game.
Right.
They're part of the. I mean, and he only averages 10 a game.
Yeah, it's not like an insane amount, but even still, that's
who cares?
Right.
It's part of the game. It's like saying Russell Westbrook isn't a good ball handler because he dunks. Like, what does it matter? What does it matter? Does the ball go through the hoop? Do we celebrate it?
Irrelevant.
Is it counted as a basket? If it's in the rules, then what are we even arguing about? And then you want to say the threes are what discounts them. Let's talk about the threes. I'm sorry. Does Steph Curry shoot threes? Did Steph Curry win the MVP? Did he win a title? Is he one of the greatest shooters in the history of the NBA? Because he shoots the three?
That's all he does.
So I guess it's okay to shoot the three?
Yeah. This is I've said this for a long time. I feel like there's a lot of bad reporting when it comes to Houston sports.
Well, James Harden is one of those guys, like Eli Manning. We'll have a theme today. Like Eli Manning, where it's easy to...
A lot of people call him lazy.
A lot of people call him lazy. A lot of people will say Eli Manning doesn't care. He doesn't love football because he doesn't scream and he doesn't freak out and he doesn't get on to people. He's been on some awful Giants teams, but you know what he didn't do?
Quit.
Throw his team under the bus, say that they're no good.
Right. Because he showed up 210 times.
He showed up 200 games in a row no matter who was letting him get sacked standing in front of him. And he played and he grinded. And James Harden did the... 1 year his team was literally Jeremy Lin and Omar Asik. And he balled out. Just balled out. They just said, hey, James, here's the ball. You're our point guard, shooting guard, rebound, assist, offense.
Everything.
If it goes in the hoop, you probably touched it. You want to do that? And he was like, whatever you need, coach. Whatever you need.
Right, and this is the same guy that was scoring over 50 points a game for like a 10-game streak last year.
I believe he set the record for 50-point games in a season. And you're right. It was more than 10 games where he went over the. I think when they broke it down to like over 30, he set an NBA record. Because even though he went over 50 for like 10 in a row, he stayed over 30 for even, I think it was like 30 games or something like that. It was an incredible run. And the reality is, they ask him to do a lot, so he does a lot.
Right.
And you're right. It never looks like he's the fastest guy on the court or trying or
he has a very interesting aura where he doesn't look like he's trying very hard.
It looks like he's walking in the park, right?
Right. He doesn't look like he's trying very hard. And then you look back, and then all of a sudden he scored 47 points on you, and you're like, "What just happened?"
I've literally sat at a bar while having a couple beers, watching the game like without sound on, and you're just watching it, and like I was getting frustrated with the Rockets, honestly. And then they put up this, like the scoreboard had been gone for a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
They put it back up, and we're up 9, and I'm like,
What?
Oh, I genuinely thought we were down like 5. Like, then they put up Harden's stat line, and somehow he's already gone 8 of 12, and you're like, oh.
That'll do something to you.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's a pretty quiet 20 points. I guess I'll shut my mouth. It's subtle, and it is subtle, and there's no denying that he is not sprinting up. Russell Westbrook plays angry. He looks like a freight train not on tracks. It's like if you put rollerblades on a bull is what Russell Westbrook reminds me of as he plays, where he's just moving everywhere so massively and angrily and violently. And then the opposite of that is James Harden just casually, like even how he dribbles looks almost tired, like calmly, like serene, like very zen. If there was a monk of basketball, it would be James Harden.
Yeah, he also can play forever because of that.
Genuinely, he will probably have one of the longer careers because he is not an up-down physical knees ankles type dude. But then beyond that, it's not like people steal it from him. It's
right.
Not like
yeah, it's not to his detriment that he's moving so slow. In fact, sometimes it can be to his positive because he wastes. Like, people just stare at him as he strolls down the court.
One of the most interesting and almost, I would say, embarrassing plays that I've ever seen is a lot of times when the clock is low in the playoffs and stuff, you roll the ball down the court because the clock doesn't start until the inbound man touches the ball.
Yeah.
So there was one time where it was a pretty good bowl. And so the ball's just kind of rolling down the court, and James Harden's walking next to it, but he never touches it. And it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. And it rolled all the way to Oklahoma City's three-point line, and the defender never made a move to it. And when it got towards the line, finally James Harden just picked it up and shot a 3. They took 0.4 off the clock for 3 points. And the announcer at the time was like, I don't really know what
just happened?
I don't really know how to explain that. The other guy just stood there watching him. There's something hypnotic, almost like a cobra.
It's like that, and also because it doesn't make any sense to you. You've been playing basketball the same way for however many years in your career, and then all of a sudden this guy's just walking towards you. You're not really thinking about it, but your instincts aren't telling you that this guy is a threat and or about to score on you
at all. I remember playing when I was in gym class. I think I've talked about this before on Nerd Thug Radio. I wasn't great at sports. I'm not an athletic person. But I always play with the older black kids on the basketball courts because the rule of next is law on the court on their basketball courts. The rule of next is law. Whoever has next gets to play. Over on the other courts, with all of us 14-year-olds, we didn't play with next. It was just like whoever was loudest with their team was next. So literally, when you would walk up to their court, you say, "Who's got next?" "Oh, this guy's going next." Like, okay, well, I'm after him. They're like, okay. And for the next 10 minutes, if someone goes, "Who's got next?" it's, "Oh, you're after the short white kid." And that was fine with me because it means I got to play. And there would be times where everyone looks the same when they play. And there was this kid who he dribbled weird. He dribbled really high, but he was also, I don't know how to. He looked ridiculous. The first time I watched him dribble, I laughed. I laughed out loud, and I'm terrible. I'm awful, and I laughed at him. But he dribbled between 3 people and then laid it up into the thing without ever jumping and without ever not looking like the silliest person on the court. But no one could guard him, and it went in the hoop.
So what does it matter?
What is it like? Honestly, by about the third time he did it, I stopped. I was like, that guy's actually
really good.
He's actually pretty good. Before we get out of this, and before I tell Snowman that he's a crazy person, let me tell you guys about our friends Donald Williams over there at Sean Myers Insurance. Make sure to call 936. Where's my phone number?
Oh, he lost the phone number. Oh, no.
No. Make sure to call 936-760-5963. 936-760-5963 over there at Sean Myers Insurance Services, where they are independent agents with access to over 15 different major carriers, and they will find the best coverage for the best price. They specialize in home insurance as well as bundling with auto, and they will go over your coverage line by line to help you make sure you understand what you're actually paying for. So give a call for Donald today. Yeah, honestly, man, it was all the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, this guy's going to get embarrassed out there. And three possessions in a row, put the ball in the hole. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, this guy's embarrassing everyone else.
Right.
It quickly changes when no one can stop it. And so, yeah, that's the James Harden thing. It doesn't look
It doesn't look great.
Does it look like Michael Jordan? No. Does it look like LeBron James? No. Is it as good? Yeah, right. I don't see a way to say it's not.
Yeah, it's working. It works well.
He's clearly one of the most prolific scorers in the NBA. I don't
Right,
know.
he led the league in scoring.
I don't know another way to say it. And so the reality is, while it seems casual or like,
I think zen is a good word for it.
zen is a good word because it's complimentary, but what the criticism is oh, he's not fiery. Oh, I want to see Russell Westbrook's foaming at the mouth. He's probably going to play 5 years less because of all that energy. He's where does it even come from? There's a star exploding inside of Russell Westbrook. But James Harden is going to play just as long, and if not longer.
James Harden's like a slow burn, and then you look back, and then your entire hand is gone.
Exactly. You don't even realize it, and then you look up, and all of a sudden, the Rockets are up by 15. And their fans are barely even cheering. Nobody even realized that.
No one's paid attention. And then everyone comes out of the stoop and they're like, "Oh, we lost by 40. Weird."
Yeah, at halftime when they go to the locker room and they kind of feel good about themselves and they're handing out the stat sheet and everyone's going, "Whoa, wait, is he shooting 70% out there?
What's happening?"
Oh, okay, we might want to. Should we double him? What do we do? So Snowman, you're dead wrong. I don't know what you're going for there, but you're absolutely dead wrong. And anybody who has a criticism of James Harden, a fair one would be he looks lackadaisical. But the reality is
he may look it, but he's certainly not doing it.
The stat sheet doesn't look it. And so with that, we're going to jump out to a break. When we come back, we got more Nerd Thug Sports coming your way. Cox ATA is the leader in ATA martial arts with 2 convenient locations, one in Conroe, one in Magnolia. They offer courses for young adults, children, and senior citizens and everything in between for people who are interested in self-defense, taekwondo, or various other courses. Be sure to check out the Facebook page if you're interested in Cox ATA Taekwondo. Hi, Conroe. Corey DLG of Nerd Thug Radio. For people interested in saving money on car and home insurance, they should contact Sean Myers Insurance Services. If you look on Google, you'll see plenty of 5-star reviews for these guys. They're great. They're an independent agent able to shop over 15 national carriers to find the best coverage at the best price for that customer. They do specialize in home insurance as well as bundling with auto to maximize discounts. They would want you to know that they consider their customers family and that their policy is caring and their goal is to bring value by going through your coverage line by line to make sure you actually understand what you have. The interested party should call 936-760-5963 if they're interested in saving money on car insurance today. The Adventure Begins Comics, Games, and More is open on 1488 at 525 Woodland Square Boulevard. With comics, games, and everything nerd-related, The Adventure Begins is the one-stop nerd shop. On Saturdays, they alternate between having Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and coming up, they also have cosplay crafting and trivia nights and BYOB nights. They're currently offering a 10% discount for limited time, which will be valid for as long as you grab your books every month.
Hi, this is Kevin Smith, former Dallas Cowboy, Texas A&M Aggie as well, and I want to say what's up to Nerd Thug Radio.
What's up, Conroe? Welcome to some more Nerd Thug Sports. Hanging out here on this Thursday. It's Corey DLG, and with me as usual is little brother Nico. Before we get into anything, let me tell you guys about our friends, The Adventure Begins, Comics, Games, and More. Right here on 1488 here in Conroe, they got a lot going on, including Thursday, tonight from 6 to 10 p.m., they've got their weekly Magic the Gathering Commander Night. Come out and play Commander with fellow Magic enthusiasts. Free to play, bring your own deck, no seat limits. So it's just fun. A lot of people out there, you can kind of see other stuff, and if you're like me, you'll get your butt kicked. Friday night from 6 to 9 p.m. is Friday Night Magic Commander Tournament. $5 entry, no seat limit. Bring your favorite Commander deck and compete in a double elimination tournament. Winners will receive promo packs, in-store credit, and the top prize, a coveted Nicole Bolas Funko Pop.
Nicole Bolas.
Nicole Bolas. Also Friday, we're going to be hanging out doing the HeroClix thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday, January 25th, this is the big one. They are celebrating their 1-year anniversary at Adventure Begins. They're going to have a drawing for prizes at 4 p.m. from 2 to 4, Batman and Spider-Man and face painting. They're going to draw 7 winners. And also at 5 p.m., they're going to serve pizza and cupcakes. It's been 1 year of the Adventure Begins. We're going to be there all day, hanging out, doing the Nerd Thug thing. So make sure you come hang out with us. And Sunday, January 26th, from 4 to 8 p.m., is D&D Juniors Adventurers League. From ages 10 to 16, $5 to play, or make a purchase of at least $5 while in-store to play for free. Yeah, man, they got my comic books there in a little box. They give them to me when I pay them. They're good people over there at Adventure Begins, Comics, Games, and More. Make sure you stop by and have a good time, hang out with us. We got a lot going on this week. The fight was this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Conor McGregor.
Returns again.
The notorious Conor McGregor. As a guy who has to talk about sports for money,
Yeah.
Conor McGregor is like a gift.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's fun. There's one thing. So people hate Russell Wilson. Here locally on 97.5 ESPN Radio, one of my favorite shows, The Blitz, they hate talking about Russell Wilson because he is the most boring quarterback publicly that has ever existed. He only says the most perfect, non-controversial, white bread vanilla, this is going to affect nobody in any sort of way answer to any question.
Woohoo.
You could be like, Russell Wilson, how do you feel about the KKK? And he'd be like, season ticket holders have the right to a safe environment, and we hope that everyone comes and enjoys Seahawks games, and we respect and appreciate everyone's personal views and the rights to have them. However, the Seahawks don't. Like, there's no, like,
Yeah,
Russell Wilson
and you're
just,
like, dang it.
yeah, like, Russell Wilson saves the world from any kind of controversy, and Conor McGregor is a walking 2-hour special, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. This is a guy who has thrown objects into buses and injured other fighters and had to pay medical bills and buy off lawsuits, all while working for the same company. These are technically co-workers, and he has to bribe them not to sue him. Like,
What a great
Conor,
what a great story.
like Conor McGregor is the gift. Like, that should be his nickname. Forget Notorious. It should be the gift. Conor the Gift McGregor. And he does it again. He walks in there, and he's been out of UFC for 2 years, I believe. 2 full calendar years. And he fights Cowboy Cerrone. Cowboy Cerrone is one of these tough dudes. When you look at him, you think, yeah, this guy wins fights. And he does. He does. Over 20 wins. Cowboy Cerrone is a bad, bad man. And Conor McGregor beat him in about 40 seconds.
Oh, no.
About 40 seconds.
Yikes.
When people talk about Conor McGregor, the one thing you don't ever hear anyone say, because of all the other stuff, and I think this is deliberate and I think it's brilliant, is he might be one of the smartest people in a fight that you've ever seen.
Yeah, he's incredible.
They've gone back and broken down other fights, and I've watched these because I'm curious a lot of times about what people are seeing when they're in these fights. I'm always interested in like the sports science of it. And this guy was breaking it down. It's the Alvarez fight where he knocks him out in the second round, and he knocks him out early in the second round. And the reason he knocks him out early in the second round is in the first round they found something that they hadn't seen in tape. In tape, there was another flaw they were going to go for, and he corrected it. Alvarez saw the same flaw in his tape, and he corrected it. When they came in early in the first round, you see McGregor really aggressive, trying to set some things up, and he can't get to him. But McGregor is also an excellent counterpuncher, so he stays alive. He stays active. But they go back and forth, both of them. By the end of the first round, McGregor is controlling the round, though, because of the counterpunching and because of his ability to just actively analyze. Well, when he gets to the corner, he's talking to his coaches, and they all saw the same thing. And what happens is, when McGregor goes to throw one of his high kicks, Alvarez's guard on his right side completely drops. Completely. The whole guard just falls under the shoulder. So you've got like a foot window that you can just rock anywhere in that window because it's all going to be head, temple, jaw. And so at the start of the second round, McGregor sets up the kick. He throws a couple that land hard on purpose. Then he throws a fake, and he's already going for the counterpunch after he throws the kick. And it opens up a 4-punch combo that ends the Alvarez fight. It's the fight that puts 2 belts on Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is incredibly skilled at setting up what he wants. Coming into the reason I bring that up is in the Cerrone fight, at a press conference, he hints to this, he alludes to this, but he doesn't want to get into it. Honestly, because I don't think he wants people to know that this is what they do. But he specifically says that he saw that Cerrone likes to duck the high, hard left punch. So when you throw a high, hard left, Cerrone's whole head and top half of his body comes down left. So if you watch the fight, he leads with the knee to Cerrone's face from the left. It's a high part of the leg and the hip because he misses it somewhat, but it's the whole upper part of his leg that just slams into Cerrone's face right there on the left side because he forces Cerrone to duck down by throwing an obvious high hard left punch for Cerrone to come under. So Cerrone comes up and already he's like, man, what just happened? And it sets up the next three engagements right there already. Cerrone's already struggling and off balance.
Right.
And he's already unprepared. So Cerrone's next thought is, man, I've got to get in close. Well, when they get in close, for those who watch the fight, what McGregor does is he proceeds to do 3 serious shoulder strikes to the face of Cerrone. As they're coming into clinch, McGregor keeps his left shoulder down and away, and he jumps hard shoulder into the face. And they're calling them shoulder strikes now. Didn't even know that was a thing before this fight. And he breaks Cerrone's nose with the third one. And when he breaks his nose, Cerrone pulls out of the clinch because he's got to get away from this guy because this guy is mauling him with his shoulder. So then as he's backing away, McGregor, he's literally walking into punch kick distance as he's doing it. So
just clocks him.
McGregor just unloads combos and a high kick, and the high kick goes completely over all the guards because Cowboys' guards aren't up in time because he was still clenched. His arms are still around McGregor. So as he's getting his arms free, he can't get him up in time, and he gets kicked upside the head.
And that's it. And that's
then
all she wrote.
That helps a lot to that knockout. It's all in the span of about 43 seconds. And what people aren't going to say, because they're already going to try and put him in a title fight, and they're not already going to try and do this. They want him to fight Khabib again. They want him to do this. They want him to do that. What people aren't going to say is that McGregor might be one of the smartest, most dangerous people in the ring. And he hints at it in the interview. The guy goes, man, those shoulder strikes were impressive. Did you? And he was like, yeah, they all they say is that I got a left hand now, but now they got to say I got a left shoulder too. And like, he's already kind of hinting that this was something he knew, that people talk about my left hand. He's telling you, I hear you, you don't see me.
Right.
And it's an impressive moment because the reality of it is that fight was dominant. There was only one person in that fight.
Right.
I don't know.
Going back to it, a fight is a fight between 2 people. This was just a massacre.
This was a massacre. Cowboy Cerrone, by the time they lift Conor McGregor's hand, he's got his cowboy hat on and he's got it pulled a little low because his left eye is already almost completely swollen shut, and his nose is broken. 43 seconds. One guy looks like he didn't even show to work. Like, it looks like he called in, and the other guy looks like he should have. And it's just like that. And so I think this is something that gets glossed over because of the attitude, because of the proper 12 Irish whiskey, because of the notorious Conor McGregor. The thing that people don't talk about is the reality.
He's an insane fighter.
This is a man you don't want to fight in the ring. This is what it boils down to, is the people who take the fight, you're not going to out-prepare him. He's like Batman without any utility belt. Like, the fact that he expected him to duck under the opening punch, and that sets up all of it.
Right.
That sets up the whole thing. Because, again, it's over after 2 exchanges. It's 43 seconds. And the whole thing sets off with, I needed him to come under. I know he likes to duck under, so I gave him something when he did.
So I was ready for it, and then he did it, and then it was all over from there.
Right. And the reporters even said, you essentially finished him off with a high kick that launched into the next combo that ended the fight. Was that on purpose? And McGregor says, yeah, Cowboy Cerrone has the record for knockouts with head kicks in the UFC. So it was really important to me to make sure that he knew I could do it too. Tell me that's not a guy who's watching everything.
Yeah. He's a very intelligent person, and he's an incredible fighter. And it rolls into his persona so well, too.
Right, because he's going to talk you into it. It's almost like that scene in Sherlock Holmes where Sherlock is like thinking like, jab to the throat, disable and disorient.
Discombobulate.
Right. It's slapping the ears. It's almost like that's what's going on in Conor's head, but like with an Irish drunk guy doing it. Well, get him to say that you're gonna, but he does it. And for a lot of these guys, he does it flawlessly. But also for a lot of these guys, he starts at the press conference where he works these guys like a surgeon. And by the time they get to the fight, they're so angry and they're so eager to fight that they're not listening to their coaches. They're not ready. They're not prepared for the fight because they just want time to start and stop so they can get there. They just want the next 2 weeks to happen so fast so they can beat this man up for talking these last month. And Conor McGregor is using every word as like just another scoop, like in a recipe. And he's just like stirring it up so perfectly that by the time the guy gets to the fight, he's not ready.
Nope.
He's not ready. And they've lost their mind. Now with Cerrone, it was a little bit different. Conor McGregor had been away. Also, he's a lot of respect for him. Apparently, they're very close. Cerrone's grandmother came and spoke with Conor McGregor after the fight in his locker room. Apparently, there's a lot of respect between these two, and there wasn't the trash talk in the media that there normally is with McGregor, where sometimes people say something and that didn't happen this time with these two. But what did happen was you already knew people were going to watch the fight. One of UFC's most accomplished fighters in Cowboy Cerrone, and then Conor McGregor returning to the ring
after such a long absence
and coming off of a loss. It was so easy for so many people to go, "Oh, well, Khabib beat him so single-handedly." There's just no way. There's just no way.
Khabib's also a crazy person.
Khabib's also a crazy person. And honestly, Khabib has already kind of said he doesn't want the fight. And then there's someone else who has one of the belts that Conor used to have, and so they think they want him to fight the winner of that title fight that's about to happen here. But Conor McGregor doesn't want to wait long. He wants to get back. He's talking about he wants to get back in the ring in March.
Oh, so quick turnaround.
I think this is going to be one of those years where he fights 4 or 5 times.
Interesting.
And I think it's because he says now that he loves fighting again. Essentially, I think what happened was by the time the Khabib fight came around, lawsuits and $100 million from boxing Floyd Mayweather and this and that and all these other things. And I think he was distracted, and I think it was easy for him to – he was enjoying success, and I don't think he wanted to be in the gym. I think he wanted the attention, and he wanted the money and the results, but I don't think he wanted to do the work at that exact instant.
Right. Because
And
preparing for a fight, especially with someone like Conor McGregor, who is always a lot of prep time, a lot of film,
and 100% in.
Right.
When he does these fight camps, he didn't even want to come to Vegas to promote the Vegas fight because he didn't want to leave camp early. So they had to find a spot for him, and he flew his whole team in to do his whole setup, and he didn't miss any prep time. They did it all in advance so that he could come straight to this.
Right.
So, this is just how he's built, is he prep. And he actually talks about that at a press conference where he's going to get back. He said, it's important to me that I'm back in the ring. I'll celebrate this win tomorrow with my family, and then probably the day after tomorrow, I'm going to have a great workout. He's already
back in.
Yeah, he's already back in. And I think you're going to see 4 or 5 fights this year from Conor McGregor.
Probably 4, because I think he needs time to prepare.
He needs time to prepare, but if I promise you after this fight, if somebody falls out and let's say he wins another fight in under a minute.
Yeah.
And then in end of May, second week of June, they're like, "Hey, so and so fell out of the main event. Can you fill in?" I think Conor McGregor says yes in a heartbeat.
Probably.
With that, we're going to jump out to a break. When we come back, we got more Nerd Thug Sports coming your way. The Adventure Begins, Comics, Games, and More is open on 1488 at 525 Woodland Square Boulevard. With comics, games, and everything nerd-related, The Adventure Begins is the one-stop nerd shop. On Saturdays, they alternate between having Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and coming up, they also have cosplay crafting and trivia nights and BYOB nights. They're currently offering a 10% discount for limited time, which will be valid for as long as you grab your books every month. Cox ATA is the leader in ATA martial arts with 2 convenient locations, one in Conroe, one in Magnolia. They offer courses for young adults, children, and senior citizens, and everything in between for people who are interested in self-defense, taekwondo, or various other courses. Be sure to check out the Facebook page if you're interested in Cox ATA Taekwondo. Hi, Conroe. Corey DLG of Nerd Thug Radio. For people interested in saving money on car and home insurance, they should contact Sean Myers Insurance Services. If you look on Google, you'll see plenty of 5-star reviews for these guys. They're great. They're an independent agent able to shop over 15 national carriers to find the best coverage at the best price for that customer. They do specialize in home insurance as well as bundling with auto to maximize discounts. They would want you to know that they consider their customers family and that their policy is caring, and their goal is to bring value by going through your coverage line by line to make sure you actually understand what you have. Interested parties should call 936-760-5963 if they're interested in saving money on car insurance today.
Hey, Haywood Jeffries, former Houston Oilers wide receiver on Nerd Thug Radio.
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Sports. I was going to say welcome back, Conroe, like they're Mr. Cotter. It doesn't matter. We're hanging out here on 104.5, 106.1. Make sure to check out the Facebook page. We're streaming on IR Lone Star. We're pretty much everywhere. If you Google Nerd Thug Radio, it's us. That's us.
That's us. We're
That's
there.
us. That's me. That's me, Corey DLG, and little brother Nico.
That's also me.
So we were talking about Conor McGregor and how awesome he is.
He real smart.
One of the things that made him awesome was 2 years ago he fought Floyd Mayweather and he made about $100 million
Yeah.
in a loss.
Oops.
It's a good day. It's a pretty good day.
I don't like Floyd Mayweather, so
Yeah, but I like money, and so does everyone else.
right.
So Bob Arum, who is one of those notorious crappy people in boxing, he is the promoter of Top Rank.
Okay.
Boxing if someone is ever a boxing promoter, you can already just dismiss them as a good person or a human being. There are zero at the national level. There are zero good boxing promoters. Just general oversight. If you're ever curious, if you meet someone and they hand you a business card, boxing promoter, never mind. You know what? I'll just borrow jumper cables from someone else. Don't worry about it. Like,
Thanks, Chief.
yeah, I don't need it. Immediately, he jumped on Conor McGregor's moment of victory to promote a 2-fight opportunity against Terrence Crawford,
Okay.
the
Random.
welterweight world title holder in boxing.
Why?
So he is saying that he thinks that his client, Terrence Crawford, and Conor McGregor should sign a 2-fight deal, with the first fight being a UFC fight and the second fight being a boxing fight.
Well, that's not fair at all.
I want Bob Arum to fight a bear. I want that to be the third fight in this deal.
Right. Give me the Zangief training method where he has to wrestle brown bears in the Russian wilderness in Siberia.
I want a 3-fight deal, and I want the third fight to be scheduled first, and I want it to be Bob Arum versus a grizzly bear. A hungry one. Yeah,
Right.
you know what? You can make them both hungry. Make it fair. Don't feed either one of them for a day.
See how that works out.
See if it gives Bob Arum an edge or not. He's just one of those really awful people in sports. And as UFC is having their moment and celebrating their Saturday night just excellence, 2 great main events, tons of good fights on the card. There was a woman's bout earlier in there where the one girl, pretty sure she blew out her knee. I need to double check that, but she needed help standing back up by the end of the fight. Finished a whole other round after doing it.
Wow.
The medical doctor literally had her sit down and was tugging on her knee, and she's like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm going again. And the ref says, you got one more round. And at the end of the round, she told the girl, she's like, I'm done. They won't let me have another round. And also her forehead was wide open. And they're wrestling the back half of that second round, and as they both get up, it looks like one of them murdered someone. Like, that's how much blood was everywhere.
Whoa.
I'm sure that took a minute to clean. But that lady warriored out. So UFC is celebrating their great moment and their great night, and Conor McGregor, the return, and then Bob Arum says, hey, everyone, look at me.
Hey, you should fight the welterweight champion in a sport you don't play.
Of boxing. Like why not just come to the Super Bowl and a couple hours after one of the teams won and so-and-so's cutting their commercial to go to Disneyland, you invite them to go play soccer against Brazil.
Right.
What is it like?
Go play rugby tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's what do you want from me, dude?
Go away. We're doing something over here. And so Bob Arum just immediately became, I already didn't like him. There's all the stories about him, and he not even subtly will say some really messed up stuff. There's some guys who've taken some real shots at him on the radio. I'll put it that way. That he has not been able to defend himself against, because apparently there are lots of witnesses.
Stop being a bad person.
Yeah, just in general, he's not a good guy. And then on top of that, he's like, hey, I know everyone's talking about them, but how about you look at me? And it's like, hey, Bob, no.
Go away?
Yeah. Wait, we'll come back to you at the next Terrence Crawford fight. You can have your moment in the sun then. And even then, it's going to be a moment too long. Nobody wants to talk to him.
No one wants to talk to you, dude.
And speaking of not talking to him, we're going to jump out. You guys have a great day. On behalf of Little Brother Nico and myself, on behalf of The Adventure Begins, Cox ATA, and Donald Williams, same Nerd Thug time, same Nerd Thug channel.